Good afternoon everyone, welcome to the second of our press conferences here at the Hilton Hotel in Liverpool. It's a huge top table full of nationalities, belts, table of dreams ahead of Saturday night. This is a great card. This is a great card. 4 fantastic televised fights, all of which the combatants are here on the top table with us. And we're going live on Sky Sports 1 at 8 PM. Must always thank our broadcast partners, Sky Sports, continuously backing us as we take the game to new heights. I'm so excited about this show, and I'm going to kick off to speak to a few people, but firstly, our first televised bout is a rematch between a prize fighter, a semi-final I believe, between Tom Doran and Luke Keeler. It's a great fight. Tom Doran's progressed nicely so far. He's had a number of big fights at the Echo so far. And Luke Keeler is a top talent from Dublin, trained by Pascal Collins here today. And this for me is a fight that I really feel boxing should be all about. When Luke Keeler was boxing in Liverpool a couple of weeks ago, I thought, you know, I'd love to make Tom Doran against Luke Keeler. So during the fight, I texted Dave Caldwell, who's Tom Doran's manager, and I said, I really want to make the rematch between Doran and Keeler at the Liverpool Arena on April the 2nd. He said, fine with us. Luke won the fight, got out the ring. I said to Pascal Collins, I really want to make the fight between Tom Doran and Luke Keeler on April 2nd. He said, fine by us. It has to be, you know, it can be so simple sometimes to make these good fights. It's for the WBC International title. One of these boys is going to go into the top 15 of the world rankings. The other one is going to be exactly where they are at the moment. No problem. If you're good enough, step up, progress. This is what these boys are doing. It's a complete 50-50 fight. Firstly, Luke, you were the one who was on the losing end in prize fighter. Yeah. I know you jumped to this fight and you're really excited to go on Saturday. Yeah,
I'd just like to thank yourself first for making it. Like, it's a fight I've asked for since prize fighter, and I'm just happy to get in and avenge that defeat. Like, it wasn't my night. I'm not making excuses, but it's going to be different this time around on Saturday. I have 10 rounds to do it, and I'm going to get the belt.
Like I said, huge opportunity live on Sky Sports for the WBC International, chance to move into the world rankings in a wonderful division at the moment. Domestically, the middleweight scene is flourishing, and the winner's going to go on to big things.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you a top 15 ranking. I'm not looking past Saturday night, but like I want to just hit the ground running and get this win and move on, you know.
Tom, again, I know you're very confident, seen across your social media. A few hiccups in the last camp. But you know, from now, obviously, you look in great shape. I know you've been working on a number of different things in camp, and again, a huge opportunity for you on Saturday.
Yeah, again, firstly, thanks to Eddie for having me on another fantastic show. Like I say, last time out, there were a few hiccups, but you know, off the back of that, I've taken things on board, changed the way I train, diet, the lot, and I'm genuinely feeling better than I've ever felt, and I can't wait till Saturday night to have a repeat of prize fighter over 10 rounds.
Obviously, that win in prize fighter, you know, a different kind of format, was a big launch pad for your career. Does give you the confidence they already have in the win?
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's a completely different animal, you know, a 3-round fight to a 10-round. But you know, the way I box, I feel that 10 rounds is even better for me. And I'm looking forward to showing it on Saturday night.
All 4 of these fights, there's so much on the line. This next fight, I think, you know, hats off hugely to your very own Rocky Fielding for taking this fight. We all remember what happened in the Callum Smith-Rocky Fielding fight. Most fighters would have asked to come back in an 8 or a 10-round contest, you know, trying to just get a little bit more confidence, move forward into title bouts. Rocky Fielding was very different. The Christopher Rebrasse fight came up, and I felt this was the perfect fight for Rocky Fielding. Again, I expected to be greeted by, yeah, a good fight, but maybe in 6 months' time. Rocky Fielding and Oliver Harrison, straight away, we feel like that's the perfect fight for us to make a statement, for us to move back into the world rankings and start where we left off in November. It's again for the WBC International Super Middleweight title, top 15 ranking, important, of course, for these guys to progress. Christopher Rebrasse, we saw in a wonderful fight against George Groves, a great fight with Callum Smith at the arena last year. This is again a real 50-50 fight between a very tough competitor in Christopher Rebrasse and a fighter I believe that has plenty to offer at world level, and that's Rocky Fielding. This fight really finds out who's got what left at world level. The winner will progress to move forward again, chasing world honours. The loser will slip back to domestic and European level. It's a must-win fight for both guys. And first of all, I'm going to welcome back Christopher Rebrasse. Christopher, tell us a little bit about your training for this fight so far.
La préparation s'est très bien déroulée. Maintenant, il faut que je reparte d'Angleterre absolument avec la victoire.
He has a very good preparing. He only wants to go back to France with the title.
Obviously, he's fought George Groves, Callum Smith.
Yeah.
What kind of fight is he expecting against Rocky Fielder?
A very hard fight. It's evident. It's always hard to take a title in the stranger country, understand? So he had a very good preparation, good sparring, and he's ready to. He has 2 blows here. He doesn't want to turn.
Thank you. Thank you. And also welcome to Tarek Sadi. Tarek made a number of fights now. And also, I guess while we're here, we should say thank you for our recent agreement with Alenga Makubu, fighting Tony Bellew for the WBC Cruiserweight Championship. And of course, for Saturday, a must-win for Christopher.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Thank you so much, everybody. Christopher is a great fighter. You know, coming 2 times in UK, his first time. He's training very hard. He's very focused on this fight and title because you know before he fight against Cardle and George Grove, but he wants to fight against Rocky Fielding now for proof he's a great fighter and he wants back with a belt for Christopher. And thank you so much for the contract and the boot for Macabu against Bellew. I hope it's a great fight soon here in Liverpool too. And thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Tarek. Rocky, this is a must-win, isn't it? I mean, again, massive props for you for taking this fight. I think it's a fight you've really got your teeth into, one I know you're very excited about, and ready to go on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely. I've, as soon as you mentioned it to me, and I got back to you straight away saying, a fight that I need now. He's been in with Callum and he's been in with George, as you said, and then give them a good fight. But I've trained hard for it, and I know he's a good fighter, and he comes forward and he's there and that. But I've had good sparring with Martin and the lads from the gym and stuff, and everything's been hard. But I'm looking forward to it now, and putting what I've been learning in this camp now. I'm looking forward to putting it on the night on Saturday and doing a good job.
Obviously, it's quite strange fighting a foreign opponent, but seeing so much of him here, and obviously 24 rounds of him as well. Is that important going into the tactics of this fight? I feel like you know what to expect against Rebrasse.
Yeah, I've watched bits of him. I've left the rest to Oliver, and he's been working on a good game plan in the gym. And it's just all about what he says for me to do in the ring. I'll do it, and I'll come up to win it. But he's been over twice, and he gives George Groves a good fight. I don't want to say anything.
Just worry about Saturday.
No, yeah, all the best Saturday to the
Luckily, you haven't got to say anything on Saturday. You just got to knock him out.
Yeah, that's it.
Who can forget back on that card in November? I think probably one of the fights of the year. A young man who was one of our early signings. Took through it. Probably I think was become my first British champion from scratch. Scotty Cardle took him all over the country. He had the perfect apprenticeship, and then became British champion at the O2. Great performance, and then went straight into the Lions Den. at the Liverpool Arena. Bumped into a load of nutcases from Birkenhead and Sean Masher Dodd. And I think probably at that stage, not too early for him, but it was a shock to the system. I don't think he boxed to plan, but what he did do was put in a wonderful performance, show a huge amount of heart, and come back and get a victory in, like I said, one of the Fight of the Year contenders. And again, this goes back to what I say about all the men at this table. They don't necessarily need to be in these kind of fights, but they want to be in these kind of fights. And if the sport's going to grow, if we're going to put on good shows, if people are going to tune in and watch, if bums are going to go on seats, these are the kind of fights that we need to make. And again, Scotty Cardle, I'm sure he'd rather be in Blackpool or in Glasgow for this fight. But this is where the fight probably makes most sense. This is where the best atmosphere can probably be created for this fight. And this is where he said, you know what, I said to Sean Dodd, I'd give him the rematch last time, and that's what I'll do. Sean Dodd, the confidence levels, you can see it across his face. You know, he's gone from taking opportunities to fight at the Olympia against Gary Buckland when we were banging trouble with no chief support. He stepped up, he won the fight. You know, he went in against Scotty Cardle, a huge underdog, he nearly won the fight. You know, and now he gets a chance to do it all over again. Two great lads fighting for the British lightweight title. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Sean, are you ready?
I'm more than ready, Ed. I think you know that, mate. I think everyone knows that. You know, the last fight was, I took the fight because it just happened. I beat Gary Buckland that no one thought I was going to do. And then, you know, facing Scott then, who's a top talent. You know, we all know how good Scott is. So I went in there because I had no choice there. He put me in there, you know what I mean? He forced me in there. So, you know, I went and done what the best I could do at that time. And I was only 50%. I've had a good fresh camp. I feel 100% and I can't wait. I'm ready to go.
I've watched the fight a few times and actually more recently.
I'm glad you have because it's been took off YouTube, hasn't it?
There's a reason for that. We've got copyright on these things, especially when it's that good.
Don't worry, mate. I'm walking around the house. I can't get Scott. I'll be fixed.
But it was, I mean, it was just absolutely a frantic pace, you know, for nearly the full 12 rounds.
I was not a mate. Wait till you see Saturday.
Are you expecting the same? Is it? I mean, you know, obviously
I know.
tactics.
Yeah, I know what. I know my best attributes. My best attributes is I've got a good engine on me, and I feel weirdly, strangely like a superhuman. So I can't wait to go in there, go in there and let's see what happens. You know, but I'm ready for a fast start, early start, late finish, whatever it brings. I'm ready.
Can't wait for it, Scotty. I think of all the apprenticeship, if you like, of everything you learned for all your bouts prior to that fight, what you learned on that night just eclipsed everything. And I know you're excited to go in and have another fight with Sean Dodd. The atmosphere is going to be fantastic, and obviously you learned a lot from that first encounter.
Yeah, I learned a lot. Great experience. Very different experience to what I'm used to, but I've experienced that now and I'm ready to go back into the Lions Den. Apparently I didn't want it back in Liverpool. One thing about me, I'm far from a bottle job. Like I'll have it anywhere. And to make that fact stated, I tipped up at Sean Dodd's local, and he's in Birkenhead just to make sure that I'm no bottle job. Like I'll show him I'm no bottle job. You know what I mean? And to be fair, half of you is with Team Cardle by the end of it, so I'll take that as well. But yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to right a lot of wrongs. I'm going in there thinking that I've lost, but at the end of the day, I knocked him out in the last round, and simple as that. So I'm going in there with the game plan that I had before, but I'm going to use it this time, and it's going to be sweet.
Same question to you. The first fight was frantic. I know that obviously Joe will have his tactics, but are you expecting a similar kind of fight, or in your head you've got to be a little bit cooler this time around?
Yeah, I've got to be cooler. I'm not expecting much else from Dodd because I think that's all he's got, to be fair. But I'm expecting the same. To be fair, no disrespect to the ref before, but I hope it's a good ref this time because I got 22 stitches in the face from headbutts. Let's hope that's different this time. Other than that, my game plan's going to stick to it. I'm just gonna stay sensible in the night, and that's it.
Prediction for Saturday night?
A lesson, just a lesson. Like I'm not predicting any rounds, I'm not predicting any result. I just know it's going to be a lesson on the night, and I'll be teaching.
Okay. Joe Gallagher, obviously a number of fighters on the card. Paul Smith, who is also going to be returning into action on Saturday night. But for you, two very big fights. Talk about the Cardle Dodd fight and then also the main event.
Yeah, thanks for everyone turning out today. Thanks to Eddie Sky. First of all, obviously it's good to have Paul Smith back in the ring on Saturday night. His last 3 fights, 2 with Abraham, 1 with Ward, and it's just a case of getting back in there and feeling good about himself. Also, we have Marcus Morrison on the bill as well, looking to make it 10-0. And then, like I say, Scott Cardle versus Sean Dodd, one of the fights of 2015. And just to touch, it's for the British title, and you could see what it meant to both fighters last year, just as it meant to both Chris Eubank Jr. and Nick Blackwell last Saturday. And it just shows what it means to these fighters. I understand today Nick Blackwell is going to be trying to be awakened from his coma, and if he is, I want to wish him and his family good luck and prayers are with him doing that. But like I said, the British title, and I know Callum, who was there in November with Rocky for the British title, is going on to the European and the world, but this belt, it still means the world to fighters coming through, and you're seeing that with both fighters last time. Sean Dodd did fantastically well last time, the Cinderella story, and he nearly pulled it off, but huge credit has to go to Scott Cardle. He came through some bad injuries and he managed to dig deep and does what a champion had to do, and that was pull it out in the last round. Looking forward to the same type of fight again on Saturday night, and at times in boxing you think, Joe, what, I'd love to be sat ringside watching that fight, and I think this is one of them fights, Sean Dodd and Scotty Cardle. I've got a great seat in the house, but it's just got to be one of them fights, as well as Rocky Fielding, Christopher Rebrasse. That's a great fight. After that, moving on, obviously Callum Mundo Smith had an exceptional start in 3 years as a professional now, and this is, some people say, his first proper acid test. He's going up against a genuine champion, a European champion. First, I'd like to welcome Team Muhammed to Liverpool. He's a good fighter. He gave James DeGale 12 good rounds. I spoke to Jim McDonnell, and he's got our full attention, and people who are thinking we're overlooking him, we're far from it. He's in a good run of form, 5 knockouts out of his last 6. And Callum Smith, I've always said, has got huge potential, and this is another step up for him, and it's a chance for him to go in there and claim the European title, and for once to do something first out of the Smith brothers, and that's to win a European title. None of the others have it, and just another bow, another string to the bow with the titles that the Smith brothers are going out and collecting at the moment. It's got to be a great fight, great atmosphere. Callum had a great training camp, and Callum being Callum, he's just a kid, just turns up, and as he says, it's wages day, and I expect him to go in and look sensational like he did when he was back here in November. And that's it, thanks, and enjoy the show Saturday night, thank you.
I know you won't give too much away on the tactical side. What has Scott Cardle got to do differently, if at all, on Saturday night?
Listen is one of the things. I said before I'm going to the fight, listen, the atmosphere going in there, and I said,
keep your hands up.
Yeah, that as well. I think that as well, going into the atmosphere, and I spoke to before the first fight, Sean Dodd had his fans there, but he also had the whole of Liverpool behind him that night, and he wasn't just fighting against 500 Birkenhead, he had the whole of Liverpool, and going into that Lions Den, every shot that Sean threw would be roared, every shot that Scott threw, there wouldn't be a ripple, and he got the atmosphere, the attention, the crowd, and he let it get to him a little bit. He's got to go in there, show his amateur mentality when he boxed all over the world, fighting good amateurs, are going in there and just concentrating on the job in hand and not listening to outside influences, and I think that's the key to this fight. He's got to have gears and carry out the fight to a T and come away as the champion.
And what sort of fight are you expecting between Smith and Muhammad? Like you say, we've seen Hadilla against and have a great fight with James DeGale and come in here full of confidence.
Yeah, this one's on a good run of form. He's developed power. He's in a different setup, different promoters, different trainers, And listen, it's a huge opportunity for him. It's a world title final eliminator. And some people would say he's having an Indian summer in his career. It's a huge opportunity for him. The winner of this fight fights for the WBC world title. The incentive and the carrot doesn't get much bigger than this. And he's got to come over. He's well prepared. He's got a good team around him. He's brought plenty of people over with him. And this isn't a case of Callum Smith just having to roll up at the Echo Arena and knock somebody out. Callum Smith is prepared for a tough 12 rounds, and that's what we expect on the night. And I'm expecting a long fight, a good fight, but I just think Callum's punch selection and his temperament will be enough to win that European title.
Thanks, Joe. I'm sure we all echo your best wishes, the best wishes to Nick Blackwell after a great fight last Saturday. The main event is a fight that I'm very, very excited about. And I know everyone's talking about the fact that it's for the mandatory position for Badou Jack. The winner will be the mandatory for Badou Jack for the WBC title. But it's also for the European title as well. And we talk about titles and the British titles, and the European title is right up there. And the champion is Muhammed. The WBC silver belt is also on the line. Sanction fees for this show are absolutely out of control. And we'd like to welcome Team Mohammadi, Christian Churchy, and of course your father here. You've got a huge team. I've seen Michelle DeRocca here as well, challenging for Ricky Burns, check for the world title on May the 28th. These guys are here to win. And firstly, to Christian, expecting a great fight on Saturday.
Thank you, Eddie. Good afternoon. I expect a great fight. I have to say I'm not agree with the bookies. I think this is an even fight. Adila European champion, Kaluma WBC silver, world title eliminator on the line. So this is huge fight, and I think it will be a good fight for the people as well.
Adila, you look in great shape. We see that you look very confident, and you've had a great training camp for this fight.
Alors pour moi, le camp d'entraînement a été très bien effectué avec de très bons sparring, de très bons encadrants, coach. Maintenant, je suis prêt pour samedi.
It was very good training camp, good sparring, and with the coach Franco Kerk, it was a very good training camp.
What kind of fight do you expect against Callum Smith on Saturday, and what is your prediction for the fight?
Quel genre? Ben alors pour moi, le combat, comment je le vois, un gagnant et un perdant. Donc je me vois pas en tout cas comme perdant. Je verrai un beau combat. Il faudra le voir. Voilà.
So for him, all the fights are difficult, and he expect prediction is a good fight for the people.
Thank you. Liverpool has been blessed with some wonderful talents over the years, and I think we'll all agree we have a young fighter who is on the verge of huge things in the WBC division, huge things in the 168-pound division, and what a division to be in. Some great domestic fights out there for him, some great world champions. One of those, Badou Jack, is the target for now. On Saturday night, he has a real test against Muhammed, the WBC silver, the European title, and a final eliminator for the world title. Callum Smith, I think you've had a great camp and you're ready to go.
Yeah, with a very good camp. Training's gone well. Gym's been busy, and that's the way I like it. We all push each other on and do feel we bring the best out of each other. I've got a tough test and for the European title, and I'm looking forward to becoming European champion. But it's also a final eliminator, and the day I turned pro, I said I believe I could become a world champion. And win the weekend guarantees me a shot at that. So although there's a lot to gain, there's also a lot to lose as well. So I can't afford no slip-ups, and I've trained great, and I'm 100% confident I'll come away with a win.
We know that you've got a great boxing brain as well. I'm sure you've studied Mohammadi with Joe. Obviously, without giving too much away on a tactics fight, what kind of fight do you expect on Saturday night?
A good fight. He's tough. He's shown he's got a good chin at the highest level, and he's set to go work rate, and his record suggests he's heavy-handed as well. So I've got to be switched on for the full 12, and I do believe if I land, I can hit him, but I can't go in expecting that. I'm prepared for the 12 rounds, and if that's the case, then I'm more than ready.
we know you're quite a quiet guy, but we see in the ring, you know, the ability to grit your teeth and to throw hurtful punches and to try and get your opponents out there as well. Do you feel you've really grown now as a fighter and this is really the last big test you need before challenging for the world title?
Yeah, definitely. I've been pro just over 3 years now, and you know, I feel I've progressed and I feel I've improved each camp, and you know, that's the aim for every fight, to show something new and work on something and, you know, show it on fight night, and I feel I've done that. Each fight I've stepped up, I've got better and better, and I'm sure the weekend will be no different.
Thank you. I echo Chris Kirch's thoughts as well about the odds for this fight. I know some of our great young fighters get you know, some very strange odds for the fight. This is a really, really close fight between Callum Smith and Muhammed on Saturday night, and a great main event, and so much on the line, obviously, which we discussed, to move forward and challenge for that world title. I want to thank everyone on the top table again. This is a great night of boxing. We should also mention on the card, as Joe said, Marcus Morrison, Ryan Mulcahy, Tom Carroll, Jed Carroll, of course, young Liverpool fighters really making their way. Scott Fitzgerald, one of our young fighters I'm very, very excited about, former Commonwealth Games champion, fighting for the second time. Paul Smith, of course, on the bill, and a young, exciting featherweight called Reese Bellotti. And apologies if I've messed everyone out, but I don't think I have. So, thank you again. It's going to be a great card on Saturday night. Get to the arena on time. These guys are going to be starting from 8 p.m, 8:05, Doran against Keeler. After that, it's Scotty Cardle against Sean Dodd, then Rocky against Rebrasse, and then Callum Smith against Muhammed in the main event. We'll see you there, and can't wait. Thank you very much for coming.